Welcome to Tuesday, the 30th day of January 2024. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism, reminding you that as the cold and the snow come back in Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. Go to thermopolis.com. A few more days of nice. Basically, the very quiet, pleasant weather we've enjoyed continues today and tomorrow, and for Thursday for most of you. Now, as you get to the West Coast, for you Pacific Northwest, California folks, you're going to be getting into the stormy weather as we get into late Wednesday night and into Thursday, certainly Thursday for sure. And then as we go further down the road, things really start to change as we get to the end of the week and the weekend. So enjoy some more nice weather. We're going to see a gradient of increasing rain and snow from the West Coast into the Great Basin states and the southwestern United States during the day Friday. By late in the day Friday, we're going to see areas of rain and snow get to the Continental Divide. And then once we get beyond Friday night, into that Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday time frame, the storm system will get over the divide. And then along and east of the divide is where the action will be from Friday night through Sunday. We're going to see travel and livestock concerns during that time frame. While this storm does not have the ability to tap into any Arctic air whatsoever, it's still going to be a storm system that is going to cause enough weather that if you're going to be traveling from late Friday through Sunday, especially over the higher elevations of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, even down into New Mexico, those mountain passes, the interstates like 80 and 70 that go over the higher elevations, there's going to be some travel concerns as we get into that Friday night through Sunday time frame. And the pattern's going to stay busy. This is a big shift. We're going to get rid of this tranquil pattern we're in and stay in a very busy one. It starts with this storm. Another storm system is going to be arriving towards the middle of next week. And then we see another one after that. So February going to be off to a busy start weather-wise. So that's going to change the whole dynamic of what's going on weather-wise. Now also coming up, at the end of the week, it's Groundhog Day, believe it or not. Now, somebody sent this to me and I couldn't resist. But with Groundhog Day coming up and the Super Bowl a couple of weeks away, that's right, we've got 2 more weeks of Taylor before that goes away. Couldn't resist, sorry. Nice shot of another beautiful sunrise, sunset situation. And as we take a look at the satellite imagery, a lot going on here. First of all, you can see high pressure ridge giving us clear skies over the Intermountain West. You can really see the clouds here going around the high pressure ridge, up and over it. So the storms coming off the West Coast are getting directed up and over the top of the ridge. So it's acting like a barrier, a wall. But you can see very impressive storm system right here forming in the Central Pacific. It's throwing some moisture towards the West Coast. There will be some showers here in the Pacific Northwest, Northern California. But this is the main event right here, this guy. As we look ahead, we're going to see this area of low pressure starting and really crashing the party, so to speak, of this high pressure ridge. But here it is, very robust. That's why it has 3 more days left in it. So today and by Friday. By Friday, as we showed you yesterday, a piece of the storm breaks off, another wave. This is going to be the weather maker for the weekend. This is another low here and another low here that will feed more instability and wetness along the West Coast as these strong Pacific jet stream winds really begin to ramp up. The high pressure ridge goes up into the upper Midwest. It's attacked by this low. And as we showed you yesterday, the low is going to kind of take this track here because of this big high here. But we're settling into where we think that first low is going to go. So by Friday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, you can see the heavy precipitation moving into California, then spreading into Arizona, the mountains of southwest Colorado. By Friday, we'll be into heavy snow, snow along the high Wasatch. Some of this is going to be rain snow mixed down across the lower elevations. So this is the first initial push of the Pacific storm coming in, pushing in a lot of moisture, but you can see that it stays right up against the divide initially by Friday, 5 p.m. However, overnight Friday, it gets a push over the divide. This is the snowfall forecast through 5 p.m. Friday. So you can see the action is in the mountains along and west of the divide. A heavy slug of snow for the Sierra Nevada, heavy snow in Colorado's southwest mountains here, and into the rim country of Arizona, getting into the snow as well. So this is sort of kind of the first push. And this happens late Thursday into Friday. As we get into Friday evening and Friday night, the low jumps over the divide. And then we have this unique setup, as we showed you yesterday. The clockwise rotation around the high and the counterclockwise rotation around the low will bring a lot of moisture up from the Gulf. But there's also a lot of moisture and instability coming off the Pacific. So basically we have two areas of moisture that are going to be converging over the Central Rockies as we get into Friday night, Saturday, and into early Sunday. And where that convergence will be the best is where the placement of the best precipitation will be. Also, with such strong southerly flow, there's going to be a lot of rain on the front side of this system instead of snow. The back side of the system that's colder is where all the action's going to be. So overnight Friday and the Saturday morning, things really change along and east of the divide and certainly into the mountain areas. This is that moisture I showed you yesterday, the precipitable water anomaly. This is by Saturday morning. We have that tap from the Gulf coming on up, and see how far it goes? It goes right up the divide of the northern and central Rockies due to that clockwise circulation, and the counterclockwise circulation is feeding that moisture in. But a lot of this moisture, there's a good chunk of this that's coming from the Pacific. So there's a merger. So there's just a lot of high humidity air working into unison here and converging it along the divide. Now what I'm going to do is show you what I did yesterday, the three model suites, and there is some pretty good agreement. We're not there yet, but the agreement is getting better, so our confidence is getting higher. What you may be wondering is what that blue bar means. What is that? Well, this is where I talked about a little bit about convergence. So what you're going to see here, all three models have the center of the 500 millibar low somewhere over southeastern Colorado, northern New Mexico area. What happens in this situation is that you're going to see the upper level winds go counterclockwise like this, but you see this, if you look at the wind barbs, see how these wind barbs are more westerly at 18,000 feet. So what ends up happening is there's a convergence of that moisture I just showed you along that blue line. So we have a couple of things going on. We have the air moving upslope across the high plains up against the divide. That's a great way to generate clouds and precipitation. But this area of convergence between this moist and energetic flow from the Pacific and the moist air coming up out of the Gulf will converge it right along and near the divide. But this blue bar, we don't know exactly where it's going to be yet. So this is the European model for Saturday morning. This is the Canadian model for Saturday morning. And this is the GFS, the American model for Saturday morning. Now, they're all very similar. So you might say, well, they're so similar, we should know exactly where the heaviest axis of precipitation will be. Not quite yet. We'd like a couple of days to do that. But with the good agreement between the model suites, the availability of a lot of moisture, we're going to certainly have some weather to be dealing with as we get to the end of the week and the weekend with that convergence, that axis boundary right there. Also, what tends to happen along that blue bar is we have instability, meaning the atmosphere wants to go up. And if it wants to go up, especially over the mountains, that's going to enhance lift and enhance the potential for precipitation. What I'm showing you is something that we normally would look at during the severe weather season, the thunderstorm season. What we're looking at is something called the K-index, which is basically a measure of instability. K-index is used when you start to look at severe thunderstorms, the potential for severe thunderstorms, but it also gives you an idea of where precipitation may want to form. And if you have a lot of instability, when you see a lot of that yellow and orange there, that's going to be very suitable, make a suitable environment for when the storm gets together to cause pockets of heavier precipitation. Notice the axis of the colors here is along that boundary like I just showed you on the blue bars. So you're looking at instability right along here. This is for Friday afternoon as that wave moves through. This is for Friday night. This is for Saturday morning, and then by Saturday noon, and by Saturday afternoon. So notice that axis stays right along the divide here. So if we go back, see it reaches its peak strength in terms of instability Friday afternoon, but it's still strong Friday night into Saturday morning. And then by Saturday afternoon and evening, the more instability goes out there. It doesn't mean you don't have any more snow back here. You do. It's just that the intensity of the snowfall could be the highest overnight Friday and the Saturday morning in that instability. And there you have it. Don't look too much at the graphic here in terms of numbers yet. This is for display purposes only. But the general theme you can see here is that moisture tap gets pushed up against the high plains. We have this axis right here of that heavier precipitation in the darker blue colors and the green colors there. But what we might see is the axis may be here, it may be here, it may be back further west, it may be back further east. That's kind of what we have to sort out over the next few days. But it goes without saying, the axis is going to be in this region late Friday, Saturday into early Sunday. And you have the potential, if you notice, the heaviest snow is right along that sort of that blue bar I just showed you. Notice the snow does get out into the plains. We might finally see some snow in the Black Hills. Not 100% sure yet, but it does look like it's a possibility in this pattern. But notice the snow doesn't extend very far out into the plains. That's because of the warmth coming up from the south and making a lot of it in the form of rain as you get further east. Look at these snow accumulations in the Sierra Nevada between now and Monday. So that's 58 inches. So you're talking 3, 4, 5 feet of snow in the Sierra Nevada with this. This will be a big snowpack boost. And this is only through Monday. As we get into next week, after the low moves out, we've got another one queued up to hit California by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, another one behind it. Both of these lows will probably transit the Central Rockies. So as we get into the middle of next week, by next weekend, we've got more coming. So enjoy the tranquil weather we've got now because it's about ready to come to an end. We'll see you tomorrow.